So the first step in this project is we need to create the round portion of the trivet. For that, we're going to be using a piece of 1/4 by 1 steel cut at about 23 inches long. The first thing we're going to go ahead and do is upset and forge scarves on either end of this piece and go ahead and forge weld them together. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to upset our material a little bit. Once we've got a little bit more thickness built up, we're going to come to the corner of our anvil. We're going to start at an angle. And then as we're pulling this piece out, we're going to lift up, start pulling this tip out thinner and thinner. Just like that. So now we have our little shelf here on the inside, and this is the portion right here that we're actually going to be forge welding. So we're going to give that a scuff just to try to keep that metal as clean as we can, which will help us in forge welding later. Forging the scarf on the other side, and do the same thing. And upset our material a little bit. And you want to make sure, because I've made this mistake several times, that you're forging it in the correct orientation. You don't want two scarves going the same direction. So we have this scarf facing up, and this scarf here facing down. So when you wrap these things around and complete the circle, they're going to sit into each other, just like that. So when we forge weld them and blend them, it'll flow into a nice consistent piece. So the next step is going to be to go ahead and start bending this piece into our outer ring. Now for my first couple forge welding heats, I'm not really going through and really trying to move metal. All I'm really trying to do is gently tap it and make sure all the pieces make contact and weld. Once I'm sure that everything is stuck together really well, and one good way to guess at that is there's no dark cold spots in my metal. It's a pretty nice uniform heat the whole way through. Once I'm sure that my metal is forge welded and stuck together, then I can start going through and blending in the seams. I'm gonna take one more forge welding heat, start working in the outer and inner edges of this ring. All right, so now that we've got our ring forged, the shop goblins have taken the chalk again. As I was saying, now that we have the ring forged, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna start forging our infill to actually hold onto some of these pots. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw out a taper to about 2 inches long. I'm gonna draw that out on the same material. We're gonna be using 1/4x1. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw it out until the end of our point touches our chalk line, and at the widest part, it's gonna be the edge of our anvil. Pretty dang close. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna mark, using the corner of our anvil, a little spot on the back right here. So this line is gonna represent the inner edge of the ring we just forged. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna offset another line about 1 inch back from this one, and that's gonna represent the outside of the ring we just forged. So from there we know that's where we want to make our bend for our feet actually going down to the ground. All right, so for the feet, what I've done is I've measured 1 inch past our initial line we made, and then from this second line, I've measured 2.5 inches. So we're gonna go ahead and cut at 2.5 inches, this piece off, and then this whole length here is gonna be both the foot and the infill for our trivet. So let's go ahead and cut that off. We can move on to the next step. All right, So the next step here is going to be forging the actual foot. And for these trivets, I like to forge a fan scroll on the end of these. So we're going to go ahead and start flaring this material out, and then go ahead and start rolling it around. See that line. Where's my hammer? Make sure gravity works. All right, so now we got to make that 2 more times. Let's see. Oh, that was a lot easier than the first time. All right, let's do that 1 more time. All right, there we go. All right, now that we got all the feet done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let these cool off a little bit. Then we're gonna go clean them up on the wire wheel, and then we can go ahead and start drilling holes for rivets. All right, now I've got our layout mostly done. Let's go ahead and finish drilling the holes in these pieces. And then I think we can start looking at assembly. So one thing we're gonna go ahead and do with these before we start assembly is, since each of these only have 1 rivet holding them in place, what we're actually gonna do is take a crown chisel and chisel in some grooves on the outside and inside where our rivet is gonna pinch. The reason we do that is, as we set the rivet, it's going to push in to all these little cuts, and it's gonna lock it in on both sides, and it's gonna keep these from rotating in place. So, just have a little crown chisel, and it doesn't have to be pretty, no one's ever gonna see it. It's gonna go through. Set a quick little star, just like that. All right, just like that. Now we can go ahead, start riveting our pieces together. All right, so that is our take on an 18th century round trivet. Hope y'all learned something in the process. Thank you so much for watching. We hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.